Welcome to the next Tech Shop walkthrough here at New Life Scientific. Today we're starting with Bart, who managed to avoid last week's video, so figured we'd just hit him hard now. And he's going to give us the tour de Centrifuge of a lot of things that are going on. So tell us, Bart, what wonderful, magical things have you been doing in the Tech Shop?
Well, we've been doing such a mass array of centrifuges here lately that I decided to kind of show off all the different things that I've been doing. On this table, it's a bunch of gas springs, something we've really been running into with a lot of them. We've got one which they're fairly available. This one would be fairly available. The one over there, however, is going to take us about 5 to 6 weeks to import from Germany.
So this is the gas spring.
Yep.
What's so special about the one coming from Germany?
It's just German made and it's not really available over here.
Interesting.
And
so we get them in and the doors don't stay open, yeah? So you lift it up and it goes...
and it falls on your hand.
Yeah. And they're just a wear part, it just happens over time.
Yep.
Honestly though, you wonder how many times they've opened and closed the door on those centrifuges. Alright, so spring repair. A necessary, though not a complex thing, right?
Right.
The most complex part is ordering the part, right? Sometimes that's the hardest part of the job, is getting your part in.
Yeah.
How long did you wait for the last springs, Bart?
Well, we had a Legend and a AccuSpin 3 that took 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months for springs. So that really slows down everything.
Yeah.
What's next, Bart?
Here we have a compressor that we decided to take apart for our own education. This one was knocking real hard, and you could hear it throughout the entire building every time it would kick on. So we decided we wanted to understand a bit more about compressors, so we actually cut this one open. There's the case. Cut it open and decided to take it apart, but before we took it apart, we realized that these springs that the compressor actually sits on are broken. So it was actually knocking against its case.
Oh, that's simple, huh?
That's simple. So we have now learned, and maybe in the future we'll actually look into repairing them rather than ordering a replacement.
Yeah, so you've gotten to the guts. What centrifuge did this come out of?
Sorvall RC5 CB something.
Okay, so a classic Sorvall.
Yes.
Common staple here at the Tech Shop. All right, lead the way, Bart. What's next?
And actually I'll be able to tell you which one it came out of.
No, we're about to see the one that came out of. Okay.
The RC5C.
Okay, an RC5C Plus, a good old-fashioned Sorvall centrifuge.
Which down there's no compressor in it yet. We've got the compressor brazed and ready to be installed. We're doing a couple final checks on it. We've flushed out the system, and we are just awaiting the testing to be done on the compressor before we put it back in.
So what does brazing mean?
Connecting the pipes securely. Basically soldering, but bigger.
Soldering for compressors.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thanks, Bart. Nice little examination of centrifuges. We have been churning out quite a bit of centrifuges recently. So, Sorvalls and Beckman floor centrifuges and Eppendorf tabletop and Sorvall tabletop and Beckman tabletop. So you can run the gamut of whatever you might need at this moment. We're off to see Rich, who's now doing cryostats. So let's go see what he's doing. All right, Rich, what you got here?
Well, this is definitely the week for cryostats. I got 3 of them in right now. I got two Thermo Shandons and a Leica. Pretty much, I think all 3 of them were doing some refrigeration evacuations and charging. But on top of that, these Thermo Shandons are known for having faulty push button controls. They tend to stick and they also tend to corrode behind and not make contact. So both of these units both had that problem. So sometimes you can pull them apart and fix them. Sometimes you have to replace them. Mm-hmm. But this particular one here also had some bad relay in it. You can see it's burnt completely out. So we'll replace that. But both units seem to be functioning properly other than those on this one. This is interesting here on the Leicas. You know, you have two compressor systems in it. The first one is for the just, cooling down the chamber, but the second compressor is actually cooling the sample head.
Right.
And you can get temperatures like at negative 50 degrees and even cooler sometimes. But what's ironic on these, I'm going to grab something around here. If you want to come over here and look. Now, I pulled this apart, but on that sample specimen head, this is actually where your sample and your specimen would mount on top of here. You got another connection. But what happens is you have these refrigerant lines coming in here.
Yeah.
And you can see what these were brazed on here, which I've taken apart. And what happens is because of this is moving up and down and you're making your cuts, and it's actually bending your hoses constantly.
Over and over again.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Thousands of times. And what happens over time is that these start breaking down inside. They're rubber, and then eventually you're going to lose your Freon.
Right.
And then once it gets to that stage, a lot of people just give up on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So here at New Life Scientific, we're coming up with a way to easily replace these.
I see.
And get the heads back in cooling, get them down to spec again. Compressor works fine. It's just it just lost its refrigeration.
And this is a 90s Cryostat. So I mean, it's ready for some overhauled pipes. I mean, it's...
Yeah, and I can expect these to actually need to be replaced.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, people just give up on cooling that specimen, and they'll still use them without it.
Yeah.
But I've decided that why can't we just replace these and get specimen heads back to spec too?
Back to 50.
I mean, they're awesome machines. They work good. It's just this is a weak link in it that that we're going to fix. So.
Well, we're going to go visit Steve. So. We appreciate it, Rich.
All right.
Finally, Steve over here. All right, Steve. It's been a while. What goodies do you have to show us?
My best.
But in tech shops, messes are a part of the game, right?
Yes, evidently.
All right.
I've got a lot of things on my plate right now. I'm doing some Kaijin QIAcubes. We've one of those cases where we had one return because it wasn't doing like the customer expected. For those that do have those problems, don't happen very often, but give me exactly what it's doing and in the order that it happened.
So it sounds like the QIAcubes are being kind of difficult.
Yes.
On your Kaia table.
Well played. Of course, those that know the QIAcubes are familiar with them. Those that don't, you're going to want one.
That's true. They're a DNA RNA purification classic, according to Kaijin themselves. So you've got a little drive here, Steve. What have you been doing?
You can go down on the website and download protocols. You can request custom protocols as well as, I think I counted 400 different protocols available for download.
Based on the type of DNA or RNA.
Whatever you want to do, and then you can request them to write you another one.
Right. Oh, okay. Dear Kaijin, I am doing muscle DNA. I'm doing starfish DNA.
Yes, and
I'm doing Pikachu DNA.
So that's what I was doing on that, and you could also download the latest firmwares, manuals, whatnot. Kaijin appears to be a good company to work with.
So this little QIAcube's at the Kaia spot.
That's the
getting its Kaia protocols.
Yeah, getting all, day of leisure and that. Then behind it, and next up on the queue is the return to the Affymetrix.
Mm-hmm. So we're in Genetics Alley. Maybe we can see it over here.
Yeah, I've got some down there. We have several.
Yeah.
That's where we're having a big rush.
So, suddenly when we dropped our Affymetrix GeneChip price below 8,000, everybody wanted one. So we're selling.
We have a couple left. So, but do not delay.
Yeah, we've been really putting together a lot of systems: 2-foot extensions, a scanner, autoloader, and a hot dog cooker.
And also known
Can we say that on the video?
As a hybrid oven.
Hybridization oven. Yeah. But their code word, hot dog cooker.
Hot dog. Yeah. Fluid stations, you can get the scanners with or without autoloader. So that's what I'm trying to assemble. Those are the parts girls. These are known for breaking up the handles.
Yeah.
And
It's those things you need. You know, not high tech. It's a handle, but if it breaks, all of a sudden you can't do
you can't do your job. But there are three others waiting to have their handles broken. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Steve. Any other goodies you want to show us before we
No,
kiss them goodbye?
No, I'm good. I'll try to have more better next time.
Don't feel bad. I mean, you've been doing stuff, Steve.
Yes.
It's not always the glitter or the glare. It's the glow. You know, you're just plugging along.
Well, you're just Mr. Alliteration.
I know. Well, thanks for joining us on this week's Tech Shop video. We appreciate you watching and hope to see you next time.